Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Jujutsu Kaisen. Sign in at the beginning of the game with Bamen Dunjia. Chapter 61. The extended blade of Zanpakuto Divine Spear was full of magic power, and slashed directly at Hanyu. The dazzling silver-white sword light bloomed, and it fell from the sky like a sword curtain. Standing on the giant wooden thorn, Wayu suddenly felt an extremely dangerous signal, turned around, and saw the blade falling from the sky. Wayu instinctively retreated extremely quickly, but she couldn't escape the speed and distance extended by the gun. Since you can't escape, you can only continue. Wayu activated his ability, and the branches on the ground burst out instantly, wrapping itself inside, layer by layer, layer by layer. Boom! The sharp spear blade fell, and Wayu's defense was instantly torn apart, layer by layer, and the silver-white blade glow penetrated through the layers of defense, and finally landed on Wayu's arm. Base. The clear sound of the sword's cry sounded, and the blade of the sharp gun shrank back suddenly. PFF'd. Wayu's arm was chopped off shoulder to shoulder, bleeding profusely. This scene directly stunned everyone. Wayu's appearance was shocking. He drove a giant wooden thorn over the courtyard wall and appeared in the site of Jujutsu High School. He ended the sister group battle between the two schools in one fell swoop. Under the indiscriminate attack, all students can only avoid their edge. The super-class Cursed Spirit's combat power cast a shadow over everyone's hearts. At this time, Lin Feng's figure pierced the sky and came to the scene. Where the blade points, it will be cut with one blow. Directly ignoring Wayu's stored energy defense, he cut off its arm abruptly. Teacher Lin Feng, Fushiguro Megumi supported Inamaki Toge, who was worn out, and looked up at the sky. When he saw that figure, he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. As long as Teacher Lin Feng is here, everything will be fine. Kamo Noritoshi also looked up at the sky, his eyes full of horror. He had heard a little about Lin Feng, the teacher from the Tokyo Academy. At first, I heard this name from Principal Gakuganji, and I mentioned it by accident when I was discussing with Principal Gakuganji to replace the powerful cursed spirit. Lin Feng and Gojo Satoru were in the same period, and they learned from Yae Masamiki, a teacher at the Tokyo Prefectural Jujutsu High School, rated as a quasi-first-level jujutsu teacher. According to Principal Gakuganji's evaluation, Lin Feng is a weak person who is extremely arrogant and can't recognize how much he is. But what Kamo Noritoshi saw was indeed another scene. Quasi-level weak person. What international joke. If someone like Lin Feng is still called a weak person, then what is he? However, with such a strong strength, why is it only a quasi-level 1? The scene of Lin Feng standing in the sky, breaking through the flower defense with a single blow, and chopping off his arm was not only seen by Fushiguro Megumi and Kamo Noritoshi, but also those who rushed over from other directions. Itadori Yuji. Teacher Lin Feng is invincible. Kugasaki Nobara. It's a lie, such a terrifying cursed spirit, even Teacher Lin Feng can't handle it with a single blow. Zenin Maki's eyes were full of reverence. Teacher Lin Feng's swordsmanship is really unparalleled. Panda. Oh, Mr. Lin Feng is getting serious. Miwa Kasumi. So this guy is so powerful, will he seek revenge on me? Nishimiya Momo. I suddenly felt that before the team battle started, Mai's worries were not groundless. Zenin Mai. Tisk, it's scarier than I imagined. Machimaru. The data of that knife can be analyzed. Lin Feng glanced around, and all the students from the Tokyo Institute and the Kyoto Institute gathered together. Everyone, you should stay far away now, I'm going to get serious. When everyone heard this, they gasped. This is how serious it is. Stupid child, stop it. Human beings are sinful, I just want to protect this planet. Wayu's regenerative ability is very powerful, almost instantly, the severed arm healed directly. The unique language sounded, and I couldn't understand it, but I could understand what it meant. Wayu's voice of persuasion slowly fell. In contrast, Lin Feng just yawned, can you hurry up? Stubborn. Wayu tore off the white cloth wrapped around the other arm. This is its big killer, and it will only be used at critical moments. On the dark brown arm, a bright and swaying flower is about to bloom, which looks extremely strange. Rise. Wayu waved his hands, and a huge strange seed rushed out directly from the ground under his feet. The weird seeds rushed out of the ground and bloomed in an instant, revealing dense piranha curse seeds inside. Shut up. The curse seeds burst out from the flower buds in an instant, shooting straight towards Lin Feng in the sky. Lin Feng put the Zanpakuto and the divine spear back on his waist, and silently muttered words. O King's Lander, the mask of flesh and blood, the Vientiane, the thing that soars high, the thing that bears the name of a human being. Scorching heat and strife, across the sea to the south, step forward. Broken Road Number 31, Red Cannon. 31 of Breaking the Way, Red Cannon. The moment the words fell, a crimson energy light ball condensed from Lin Feng's palm. Immediately afterwards, the crimson energy light ball, like a falling bolide, crashed down towards the Hua Yu place below. It fell like a bolide, mixed with endless flames, devouring all the curse seeds that exploded. Moon steps. Lin Feng kicked a few steps in the air, and his whole body also fell at a very high speed, pulling the distance between him and Hua Yu in an instant. Lanjiao. The magic power was attached to the right leg, and the right leg kicked several times with lightning, and the magic power vacuum slashed out, rushing towards Hua Yu. Lin Feng's lightning method directly made Hua Yu unable to catch up. He had just released a wave of curse seeds, and Lin Feng had already released 3 moves. Boom, boom. Lan kicked Hua Yu's body, kicking him into the forest. Point to the gun. Lin Feng made a shooting posture facing Hua Yu, who flew into the forest, and the simulated magic bullet burst out again. The combination of the Navy's 6 style plus the broken way. Hua Yu changed from an offensive launcher to a beater with his head in his arms. There was complete silence all around. Everyone in Tokyo Academy and Kyoto Academy was watching the battle, when they saw Lin Feng knocking Hua Yu away again with the momentum of thunder. A few people rubbed their eyes. Could it be that they were dazzled? Can a premium cursed spirit be beaten like this? It's a lie. Isn't teacher Lin Feng a jujutsu teacher rated as a quasi-level 1? Why can he beat the special level cursed spirit? Kugasaki Nobara, holding a hammer in his hand, wanted to turn into a reporter and visited Lin Feng at the moment. In fact, it's not that Kugasaki Nobara has never seen the world, but that compared with Itadori Yuji and Fushiguro Megumi, Kugasaki Nobara's understanding of Lin Feng is shallower. Todo Aoi touched Itadori Yuji with his elbow. Friend, you said that the skills you used to fight with me were all taught by that teacher. That's right. Itadori Yuji nodded and said, Teacher Lin Feng is not only the one who taught me taijutsu, but also the one who brought me into the world of jujutsu. Todo Aoi looked at the figure thoughtfully. When he fought Itadori Yuji before, Itadori was like an unbeatable Xiaoqiang. No matter what kind of attack, he can withstand it, and then quickly apply what he has learned, and he has a strong sense of fighting. At that time, Todo Aoi was thinking that it would be impossible to teach Itadori Yuji without a competent teacher. Now it seems that the reputation is well deserved. Even the boys who are usually proud and arrogant have been conquered, not to mention the girls. Nishimiya Momo and Miwa Kasumi are already stars. Lin Feng landed on the ground and walked towards Hua Yu in the forest. As expected, Mr. Sha Yu, Junrin and Luhu have all specially instructed them to name the person to be dealt with. Hua Yu knelt down on one knee, pressed her dark brown arm on the ground, and poured the special absorbed energy into the ground. If I don't kill you today, it will definitely affect our future plans. So you must die. Be with the soil and become the nutrient of the earth. After the voice fell, with the center of Hua Yu's left palm as the dot, the aura of withering spread out instantly, and all the surrounding plants withered and withered. The absorbed vitality crazily poured into the weird flowers on the left arm and shoulders, and the red flower buds suddenly burst into flames. Lin Feng strolled in the forest, getting closer and closer to Hua Yu, and did not forget to tell the students. The special level cursed spirit's move is to absorb the mana or vitality of the target. You stay away from it, so as not to be affected. Teacher Lin Feng, you have to be careful. Itadori Yuji yelled. Lin Feng raised his hand with his back to everyone. Don't worry, I'm invincible. Although this sentence is a bit of a cup, but Lin Feng is not wrong. Although he is not like Gojo Satoru's unlimited spells to isolate all attacks, but he can do the opposite, that is to face cursed spirit's attack and kill cursed spirit. As long as it is killed, it is also invincible. Hua Yu quickly absorbed the vitality of the surrounding animals and plants, and the breath became stronger and stronger. Crack! In front of Lin Feng, the ground was cracked, and the huge tree branches that had absorbed the vitality rushed out instantly, blocking Lin Feng's footsteps. Fire escape Jujutsu How Fireball Art. The magic fire turned into a huge fireball and crushed across the border, annihilating all the gaudy branches blocking the way. The surrounding decay has stagnated, and looking around, it is all barren, with no grass growing on the surface, and no vitality. Lin Feng looked at the complete Hua Yu calmly, and said with a light smile, "Why don't you continue to absorb? Could it be that your coverage has reached the end? If you want to absorb, tell me, I will satisfy you." Hua Yu is a little unclear, but it tastes ominous. Lin Feng put his hands together, not to release the domain, but to transform the mana in his body into mana wood. Wood escape curse secret technique tree world descends. The tree world is coming, the unique ninjutsu of the first generation of Naruto Senjujuma in the world of Naruto. Use your own chakra as the life force of the trees, launch huge trees, connect the trees into boundaries, grow wildly, and no target who steps into the area can escape. It can be said that this technique is an all-round technique integrating control, grasping, offense and defense. What Lin Feng used was not the original version of tree boundary descending, but the Jujutsu version he finally simplified after numerous trials and errors. In the daily life without curse, Lin Feng is not only teaching students to practice, but the rest of the time is also practicing by himself, that is, relying on his inexhaustible storage of magic power and his own spells to transform the attributes of the Naruto world ninjutsu as reproduced. Heaven pays off. Lin Feng has been able to make several for a period of time. And this mantra version of the tree world is coming, which is the biggest wave so far. Boom! The ground beneath Lin Feng's feet was torn apart in an instant, and the mantra wood was poured into the ground, and what broke through the ground again were dense green giant trees. The giant verdant trees surged out, placing Hua Yu directly in the connected tree world. At this moment, in Hua Yu's dark brown left arm, the offering flower at the end is in full bloom, and one eye in the stamen is watching the surrounding green tree world. How can it be? Hua Yu was horrified and shocked. How could this guy summon and grow such a huge tree world? Is it his technique? Wrong. Even if it is a spell, such a huge tree world needs to maintain the magic power, the horror will exceed the open field. The eyes in the stamens became hideous. Hannah no longer hesitated. Domain expansion. Savor the sea of light. The golden field spread instantly, swallowing the surrounding tree world. The power of Hua Yu's domain devoured the tree world, and Lin Feng urged the tree world to grow wildly. Phagocytosis and growth, two extremes are intertwined. Hua Yu is really at a loss. Won't this man's spell power be exhausted? It's a lie. Mr. Lin Feng can take over the super cursed spirit's domain without expanding the domain. Kugasaki Nobara stared blankly at the scene of the gods fighting in the distance, and his cognition was a little subverted. It is not only Nishimiya Momo who has been subverted, but others as well. Gojo Satoru in the other direction couldn't help but look at the terrifying battlefield in the distance. Mr. Lin Feng made such a big noise. Hey, Gojo Satoru, you must be 1.9 meters tall, right? A contemptuous voice sounded. I saw a bald curse user dressed as a butcher, waving the cursed tool in his hand, and asked. Flying in the air, Gojo Satoru looked down at the bald curse user from a height, and thought about it carefully. 1.9 meters should be my previous height. I have been eating well recently, so I am about 1.91 meters now. Stop talking, the bald curse user said violently. In short, I like your height very much. It would be perfect to kill you, take your skin and bones, and use it as a coat rack. It's better than that old man. The bald curse user is naturally talking about the fighting rock Gakuganji Yoshinobu. Ha! Gojo Satoru turned to look at Gakuganji Yoshinobu. Old man, didn't you say, you go first? Gakuganji Yoshinobu. This curse user is dealt with by the old man. Old man, now is not the time to be handsome. Gojo Satoru pointed to the tent not far away. I am forbidden to enter the tent arranged by cursed spirit in the high school. I think it should be a special kind of tent. The cursed spirit is used as the core to enhance the stability. The ones inside are special grade cursed spirit, and there are students from the two schools. More people need to take care of them. Gakuganji Yoshinobu pondered for a while, then turned and walked into the tent. This time the cursed spirit's attack on the Jujutsu High Commissioner was premeditated. It can be seen from the tent that was laid to prevent Gojo Satoru from entering. Outside the tent, there is only Gojo Satoru left, curse user with a bald head, and the army of cursed spirit who is watching eagerly. It's really slow. Gojo Satoru has a little regret. Lin Feng said earlier that there would be 2 super cursed spirits, but when Gojo Satoru came here, that super cursed spirit had already left, leaving only an army of fanatical cursed users and cursed spirits. The cursed tool in the hands of the bald curse user is already hungry. Gojo Satoru, come and die. Oh, it's really impolite to shout and kill. Gojo Satoru's figure landed on the roof. I'm standing here, so what? Brush. The bald curse user threw a throwing axe directly towards Gojo Satoru's face, as if it was a signal to charge. A large number of first and second level cursed spirits ambushing around also jumped up and besieged Gojo Satoru. Facing such a huge scene, Gojo Satoru became a little interested. Wow, there are so many people, they will get hurt. The sky-high offensive landed on Gojo Satoru with a bang, and Gojo Satoru remained motionless with his hands in his pockets. Technique. No lower limit. Gojo Satoru, the man born invincible. He is the only village committee member of the Gojo family who has 6 eyes for hundreds of years. His appearance directly breaks the delicate balance among Jujutsu, curse user, and cursed spirit. As early as in childhood, a bounty of 100 million was placed on it, and there were people with ulterior motives who wanted to swallow the bounty. After meeting Gojo Satoru, some of them changed their minds, and some of them stopped. Thoughts, 2. Stop life. After the celestial body incident 12 years ago, Gojo Satoru, who was reborn from blood, has mastered the art of repairing himself by reversing the art, so that he can permanently open the art with no lower limit. It was also at that time that Gojo Satoru went from the strongest in the broad sense to the strongest in reality. The bald curse user's cursed tool axe landed in front of Gojo Satoru, and the speed slowly stopped until it was more than a dozen centimeters away from Gojo Satoru, completely still. The attack methods of the other level 1 cursed spirit are also isolated from the outside by no lower limit. Gojo Satoru just looked at the bald curse user and the cursed spirit quietly. I said, it's useless to trap me if you don't let me enter the account. The special cursed spirit inside has no way to succeed. Nonsense. The bald curse user said. The one in your Jujutsu high school is Master Hanayu. How can you Jujutsu masters block Master Hanayu's domains and spells? Gojo Satoru, don't be proud of yourself over there. Gojo Satoru's 6 eyes and no lower limit make my ears callous. The bald curse user joked, your number lower limit can't defend against poison, right? The bald-headed curse user finished speaking, and a first-class toad, cursed spirit, jumped out. Its body was densely packed with pus-oozing poison cells, as if it were a walking poison. Oh, Gojo Satoru became interested. It seems that you have done a lot of homework. What the bald curse user said is indeed true. Gojo's spells have no lower limit and are not actively aggressive. They represent objects that are closer, and automatically identify and judge the degree of danger such as the strength, quality, and speed of the approaching object. Then stop it or pop it off. Except poison. At the order of the bald curse user, in addition to the toad cursed spirit, other cursed spirits whose attack method is to release poison also aimed at Gojo Satoru to jointly cast the poison ability. Gojo Satoru's figure appeared in the air, and the bald curse user couldn't wait to rush up. Just keep harassing Gojo Satoru with the poison so that he is exposed, and you can chop him up and make him a hanger. Gojo Satoru raised his eyebrows. To be honest, although no lower limit spells can't defend against poisons, he is really indifferent to these poisons. The reason why he flew up was thinking about where to do it. After all, this is within the Jujutsu High School, surrounded by high school buildings, damage is a lot of loss. But I didn't expect this bald curse user to be so fanatical. Well, then it's better to be a little presumptuous. Facing another round of attacks, Gojo Satoru took off his black blindfold. When he opened his eyes, it was a pair of pale blue pupils with white mist. 6 eyes, the pupil of the sky. Gojo Satoru slowly raised his palm facing the bald curse user and a bunch of cursed spirit. Jujutsu Kang. With Kang as the center point, a sudden black hole-like suction force absorbed everything in front of Kang. The suction force and the space gathering and contracting force reached a certain critical value. Boom! Everything around is chapped in a circle. Under the violent flow of spell power, above the ruins, the bald curse user and cursed spirit were all reduced to nothingness. Ah, it seems to be too hard. Gojo Satoru looked at the surrounding messy buildings. Anyway, cursed spirit attacked the high school, and it is reasonable to damage a few buildings. Gojo Satoru turned his head to look at the tent not far away, feeling a little regretful suddenly. If Mr. Lin Feng hadn't been allowed to choose just now, he would have been the one fighting against the super cursed spirit. It won't be so boring now. The other side. The collision between Lin Feng and Hana Yu continued, and all the students retreated again and again. Even Iori Utahime, Yae Masamiki, Mei Mei, and Gakuganji Yoshinobu, who rushed to rescue the students, stopped. Everyone looked up at the terrifying battlefield. The golden field and the giant verdant tree collided with each other. Mei Mei had a rare serious face, as the ever-growing green giant tree behind Mr. Lin Feng his domain. No, Yae Masamiki said, this is not that kid's domain. As Lin Feng's teacher, Yae Masamiki certainly knows Lin Feng's field. Regardless of the rating, this kid is a quasi-level 1. In fact, his strength has already reached the top level. Iori Utahime. Mr. Lin Feng is so handsome. Gakuganji Yoshinobu was stunned, looking at everything in front of him with cloudy eyes in disbelief. He has always heard about Lin Feng's Ryomen Sukuna, who hit the super strength twice in a row. Never seen Lin Feng in action. And now, he saw it. Lin Feng was in the golden domain of Waiyu. With his hands outstretched, the mantra was running in a state of madness, and the green giant trees continued to grow and disappear, and the cycle repeated. This is destined to be a battle that is enough to be recorded in the history of the Jujutsu world. Lin Feng, a Jujutsu division with a quasi-level rating, fought against the special-level cursed spirit, and blocked its offensive abruptly, and took over the domain power of the special-level cursed spirit without even using the power of the domain. In history, no Jujutsu master has been able to do this, not even the invincible Gojo Satoru. At this moment, Lin Feng is undoubtedly the most dazzling existence. Lin Feng glanced down, those who should come and those who shouldn't, all gathered. Very good, that's what I want. Before, Lin Feng and Gojo Satoru reached an agreement to jointly diagnose and treat this terminally ill Jujutsu world. Gojo Satoru is the medicine and Lin Feng is the scalpel. The scalpel is extremely sharp. If you don't use the knife, it will be a blockbuster, and it will hit the root of the disease. The brainwashed plan to attack Jujutsu Gaozuan committed the crime, which is the best time for Lin Feng to declare. Lin Feng wants to be at the highest place, where everyone can see, to show his edge to the entire decadent Jujutsu world. About there. With a thought, Lin Feng reduced the output power of the magic power tree, and the green giant tree was swallowed by the golden field, and then covered. Lin Feng stood in a golden sea of flowers. The surrounding flowers were extraordinarily gorgeous, and behind the beauty was hidden endless murderous intent. Being in the sea of golden flowers makes people yearn for it, and can't help admiring, sighing and weeing. Stupid child, I have already seen your ending, and I have become one of the nutrients of this sea of flowers, blooming like an epiphyllum, shining in an instant. Waiyu's unique language sounded, and at its feet, flowers lifted it up, suspended in midair, and looked down at Lin Feng from a high position. Lin Feng's expression was sluggish, as if he was influenced by Waiyu's domain and controlled his mind. In fact, Lin Feng was faking it. He did it on purpose, to let Waiyu attack him unreservedly, and then kill him himself. Perfect plot. Bury it. When Waiyu waved his hands, countless seas of flowers surged up, forming waves of the sea of flowers, pressing down on Lin Feng. The terrifying mantra pressure came, and everyone on the ground turned pale. Did Lin Feng lose? Iori Utahime was so anxious that tears welled up. Yae Masamiki also planned to make a move, but it was too late. What Lin Feng didn't know was that his little acting had actually touched the hearts of so many people. Just when everyone thought that Lin Feng would be swallowed by the sea of flowers and die. Snapped. Waiyu's mighty domain's strongest attack suddenly stopped, and then the golden domain was torn apart abruptly. In the sky not far away, there is a white-haired man floating. It is Gojo Satoru. When Gojo Satoru saw Lin Feng's verdant giant trees disappearing, he immediately became anxious. Outside the tent, he unleashed all his strength to remove the tent abruptly, and then rushed to the scene. There was a dead silence in Gojo Satoru's eyes of the sky, and then he clasped his hands together. Spell Reversal Kang. Spell Reversal Hei. Virtual Form, Kai. Kang, and he merged into a mass of purple-black vortex energy that distorts space almost instantly. Hua Yu and Lin Feng were stunned at the same time. The former felt the breath of death, while the latter couldn't laugh or cry. Of course Lin Feng knew what Gojo Satoru meant. From Gojo Satoru's perspective, he lost to Hana Yu and was about to be killed, so Gojo Satoru launched the strongest virtual form regardless of everything. Lin Feng's mood was very complicated. He was a little touched by Gojo Satoru's reaction, but at the same time felt helpless. Should I tell Satoru that I did it on purpose? He shouldn't be able to hear, right? At this moment, Hua Yu's heart is ashamed. Is the ceiling of the Jujutsu world really that scary? Gojo Satoru even directly wiped out the account that was specifically aimed at him, then tore up his own domain, and then launched an offensive. From the purple-black vortex energy, it can't see a way out. Could it be that cursed spirit really can't survive in the sun, can't really rule the world? Hua Yu felt grief and indignation in his heart, but it was of no avail. He condensed all his spell power into a defense and attached it to his body, and then went straight to the ground. And at the same time, the scorpion released by Gojo Satoru crashed down, and the energy of the huge circular black hole crushed down. The terrifying force directly annihilated half of Hua Yu's body. The power of thunder smashes the darkness. The twisted ripples of the spell remain in the air. The terrifying imaginary formula falls into the eyes of others. Compared with Lin Feng's non-domain connection, Gojo Satoru is more direct. Invincible crushing. Just when everyone's eyes were on those two figures, Lin Feng untied the Zanpakuto and divine spear hanging from his waist. In the original plot of Jujutsu, this section is the highlight of Gojo Satoru and the highlight of Hanao. One was crushed by invincibility, and the other escaped with blood. But now, Hana Yu must stay here, beneath the barren ground of Jujutsu High School. Hua Yu, whose half of his body was smashed to pieces, was fleeing towards the outside world. Wherever he passed, blood spurted wildly, staining the underground soil and rocks red. Even in the moment before Gojo Satoru launched the virtual shovel, Hana Yu tried his best to escape, but half of his body was still smashed, and his internal organs were beating, which was very likely to fall. Horrible. Gojo Satoru's horror is beyond recognition. After the black hole-like annihilation energy was crushed, Hua Yu's spell power could no longer be produced, and her resurrection ability also stagnated, unable to heal her injuries. Hua Yu could only escape desperately by virtue of her instinct and remaining spell power. Faster! Hurry up! Hurry up! On the ground, in the sky. Lin Feng untied the Zanpakuto divine spear, and pointed the silver-white short blade in a direction beyond the Jujutsu High School. The battle will end in the next instant. In Lin Feng's pupils, a ray of light was fleeting. The next moment, he opened his lips and teeth lightly, and said lightly, "Swastika, God kill gun, base." Before the words were finished, the dazzling knife light flickered instantly. Wow! In the blink of an eye, a dazzling blade flashed out of Lin Feng's hand in an instant, passing by at a very high speed, reaching nothingness. At this moment, the air is cut open. A certain woodland outside Jujutsu High School exploded directly, and the earth, wood, flying stones turned into dust all over the sky. At the same time, the tip of the knife pierced the ground and reached the ground. The blade shrank and pulled out from the ground, and half of Hua Yu was hanging on the retracted blade. The remaining half of Hua Yu's body was pierced through, and this knife pierced through its heart directly, smashing it to pieces. PFF'd. Blood rained all over the sky, and when it fell to the ground, flowers began to bloom on the barren ground. Quiet. Deathly silence. The world seemed to be quiet. Hana Yu mechanically looked at her pierced chest, and the vitality gradually dissipated. The blade retracted and the bursting blade shredded Hana Yu's body inch by inch, and then disappeared into the sky. What Lin Feng held in his hand was an ordinary-looking silver-white short blade. At this moment, the originally sunny sky was suddenly covered with overcast clouds, and heavy rain washed the ground. Everyone looked up at the two figures in the sky. The rain is still falling, and although the surface is devastated, it is also being reborn at the same time. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief that this terrible incident was finally over. In this incident, everyone had a more profound image and change of Lin Feng. Everyone's eyes on Lin Feng changed and became extremely complicated. From this is Gakuganji Yoshinobu. He thought of the meeting that day, Lin Feng's words. I have made the choice that I think is the most perfect and the best, and then I just need to enjoy what the choice gives me. The world of Jujutsu has changed. The team battle on the first day of the sister exchange meeting between the Tokyo Academy and the Kyoto Academy ended in an anticlimactic manner. This incident sounded the alarm for the Jujutsu High Commissioner, and also reminded the decadent high-level officials who were sitting firmly on the Daiyutai. Lin Feng became the protagonist of this incident. There is no other reason. It was he who was the first to notice the invasion of the high school by the special grade cursed spirit, and blocked the special grade cursed spirit by himself, and killed it completely. The next high school secret meeting included Lin Feng. Meeting room. A group of people sat around an antique table, and Aijichi poured everyone a cup of hot tea before reporting on the casualties. Lin Feng, Gojo Satoru, Yae Masamiki, Gakuganji Yoshinobu, Iori Utahime, and Meimei have a total of 6 people. After listening to Aijichi's casualty report and some matters, everyone's eyes returned to Lin Feng. Suddenly becoming the focus of attention, Lin Feng couldn't help blushing. Everyone has something to talk about, don't just look at me, it's embarrassing. Meimei took the lead and said, in this group battle, what made me curious at the beginning was the talents and performances of the students taught by Mr. Lin Feng. Unexpectedly, in the end, the one who surprised us all was Mr. Lin Feng himself. Quote, Mr. Lin Feng, your strength is not only rated as quasi-level 1, why are you hiding it? Meimei, you always speak so sharply. Lin Feng said calmly, why did you hide it? Of course it's out of trouble. My teachers and close friends are all aware of this matter. Yae Masamiki's face turned black, brat, don't drag me into the water. Gojo Satoru said haha. Mr. Lin Feng, it's true that you're not very motivated. Gakuganji Yoshinobu looked at Lin Feng with cloudy eyes, made a decision, and said slowly, in this incident, Lin Feng has contributed the most, and of course he should be rewarded. I think his performance should be rated at that level. Yae, what do you think? If the two of us come forward, it shouldn't be a big problem for the upper management to add a quota. Lin Feng's face turned blue when he heard that. Gakuganji is going to take a cut from the bottom line. Under the guise of recommending ratings, you are actually putting yourself in shackles. That, Lin Feng's voice resounded firmly. I think the current situation is very good, let's forget about the rating. I reject. Lin Feng's words were sonorous and forceful, reaching the ears of everyone in the conference room, with expressions of resistance on their faces, as if it was a very bad thing to raise the rank of Master Jujutsu. Gakuganji Yoshinobu said slowly, Lin Feng, the greater the ability of a person, the greater the responsibility. Since you have good strength, you should go to the position where you should go and make contributions to the Jujutsu world. Principal Gakuganji speaks seriously. As we all know, the existing big 3 sorcerer families of the Jujutsu family, the Zenin family, the Kamo family, and the Gojo family are all Jujutsu master families with thousands of years of experience, and many Jujutsu masters have been trained. With their brilliance, the Jujutsu world will surely have long-term peace and stability. Lin Feng laughed out loud in his heart. The old man Gakuganji is very good at moral kidnapping. He has good strength, so he plays for the Jujutsu world. The key is that the Jujutsu world deserves it. In today's Jujutsu world, the high-level parties are fighting against dissidents. In order to pursue the throne of power, they will do everything possible. They're all blind people. Lin Feng sent Gakuganji Yoshinobu back with one sentence, while Yae Masamiki didn't say a word. Have we strayed from the theme of our meeting? Gojo Satoru clapped his hands, then took the bait and said, Jujutsu division ratings can be done at any time, don't be in a hurry right now. In short, the incident of the cursed spirit attacking the high school is all due to Mr. Lin Feng, if he hadn't detected it in advance and rushed to the battlefield to block the super cursed spirit. Even I may not be able to suppress the casualty situation to this point. Wu is right, Yae Masamiki also said. This incident, thanks to Lin Feng, but we can't be too complacent. This incident has merits and demerits, and the main responsibility lies with me. As the principal of the Tokyo Prefectural Jujutsu High School, I failed to detect Lord Tianyuan's enchantment in advance. It also allowed special grade Cursed Spirit, Curse User, and Cursed Spirit to break into here, causing incalculable losses to Gaozuan. Principal Gakuganji, please be blunt in your incident receipt report. Gakuganji Yoshinobu choked, and the words were held back abruptly. He could see it. Lin Feng declined the Jujutsu Division rating. Gojo Satoru and Yae Masamiki are helping him both overtly and secretly. In the entire conference room, he was a clown. Uncomfortable. Yae Masamiki continued. Let's put this matter aside for now. Next, let's discuss the issue of the sisters' exchange meeting between the two schools. Should we continue with tomorrow's competition? Gakuganji Yoshinobu grimaced. Such an incident happened, in my opinion, don't. I think it needs to be done. Lin Feng interrupted Gakuganji Yoshinobu's speech, and then said, the sister exchange meeting is an exchange meeting for the students of the Tokyo Institute and the Kyoto Institute. As for whether to continue, shouldn't it be left to them to decide? Gojo Satoru raised his hand in agreement. I think Mr. Lin Feng is right. Mei Mei crossed her arms and did not express her opinion, after all she had no money to take. Iori Utahime raised his hand weakly. I think so too. Gakuganji Yoshinobu. Only the world where Gakuganji Yoshinobu was injured was reached. The sun is shining brightly and the sea breeze is slightly fishy. On the beach, seagulls hovered in the air, refusing to fly away for a long time. Today's weather is fine, but the atmosphere is unusually quiet. Under the beach umbrella, the real person was lying on the beach chair, with his hands resting on the back of his head, watching the waves with scattered eyes, and the latest issue of the magazine on the table next to him was blown by the wind to turn the pages, and he was not in the mood to read it. Even Sha Yuji, who always smiled at others, suppressed his smile. Hanayu is really dead. How did it die in Jujutsu High School? Luhu's expression fell silent. In the small group, it walked very close to Waiu, and it was thanks to Waiu to save its life before. But now, Hanayu died in Jujutsu High School. For a while, it was difficult for Lihu to accept this reality. What went wrong? Obviously the plan is perfect. First of all, the existence of Gojo Satoru who breaks the rules. The account set up by Jujutsu High School is to isolate him. Even if Gojo Satoru forcibly breaks the account, Hanao should be able to escape the moment the account is broken. And it is. Waiu is not an ordinary cursed spirit. Even if it is placed at the super cursed spirit level, it is a relatively special existence. And this kind of Waiu, if you say no, it will be gone. It seems that I still underestimated. Sha Yuji said indifferently, with no sadness or joy in his tone, calm as water. I only considered Gojo Satoru for this action, but I missed Lin Feng. From the mouths of those cursed spirits who escaped death before Gojo Satoru cast the spell. Under the circumstances at that time, Gojo Satoru forcibly broke the account and launched the virtual formula. Shu Shi didn't kill Waiu directly. The blow that actually killed Waiu came from Lin Feng. A knife light pierced the sky, went straight into the ground, pierced through Waiu's last vitality. Lu Hu was very sad, and the sadness turned into anger, gushing out. Sha Yu, I want to avenge Waiu. Are you also sad for Waiu? Sha Yuji patted Lu Hu on the shoulder. Don't be too depressed, although this mission failed, it's not for nothing. What's the meaning? Lu Hu took a look at Sha Yuji. It was obvious that Waiu was dead, so why didn't he get nothing? Sha Yuji held the key, and said, the special grade cursed object prison gate will be available soon, and by that time, the whole of Japan will enter the playground prepared by me. What you are looking forward to, what Hana Yusuo is looking forward to, what everyone is looking forward to, the day when curse comes to the sun is not far away. Tokyo Prefectural Jujutsu High School. In the dormitory. Itadori Yuji and Kugasaki Nobara brought pizza while Fushiguro Megumi was recuperating, and the three ate and chatted. Hey, Itadori, how did you get on good terms with that gorilla at Kyoto Academy? Kyoto Academy is going to kill you in the team battle. Kugasaki Nobara was a little puzzled. Itadori Yuji chewed on the pizza and said, how should I put it, the relationship here is very complicated, and I will explain it to you later. Kugasaki Nobara grabbed the hat of Itadori Yuji's shirt. Are you guys trying to hide a secret from me? Nah, Fushiguro Megumi sighed. I said, can you stop making noise in front of me? Knock knock. At this time, there was a knock on the door. Itadori Yuji escaped unharmed, and hurried to open the door. Well, Teacher Lin Feng. It was none other than Lin Feng who came to visit. It's also very subtle to say, after the whole team battle, Itadori Yuji was obviously beaten the hardest, and it turned out that Fushiguro Megumi was even more seriously injured. Really answered that sentence, Fushiguro Megumi was either lying on the hospital bed or on the way to be beaten. Teacher Lin Feng. Fushiguro Megumi and Kugasaki Nobara greeted in unison. Kugasaki Nobara quickly removed the pizza box on Fushiguro Megumi's lap, and Fushiguro Megumi made a gesture to get up. If you are injured, just lie down and take care of yourself. Lin Feng stopped Fushiguro Megumi's aggressive behavior. How is the injury? Miss Shoko has already taken out the curse seeds from my body. Fushiguro Megumi said, it's okay. That's good. Lin Feng glanced around the room, and it was empty. I said, wouldn't you bring something that you should bring for a real visit to Fuhei? A 3-piece set for sick visits, nothing but apples, milk, and nutritional supplements, just a box of pizza, and a bag full of snacks, which stopped Fushiguro Megumi from tormenting. Teacher Lin Feng, I'm going to buy fruit for Fuhei right now. Itadori Yuji laughed, then turned around and was about to go out. Best friend, you are here, a rough voice sounded. I saw Todo Aoi turned in from the window, and when seeing Lin Feng was also present, Todo Aoi immediately behaved a lot. Mr. Lin Feng, I'm looking for Itadori. Don't get me wrong, Todo Aoi has never been a character set that advocates civilization and fosters new styles. It always threatens its own people. The reason why it behaves is purely based on Lin Feng's strength. Todo Aoi are arrogant, but respect the strong. Lin Feng nodded. It seems that you get along well. Mr. Lin Feng, you misunderstood. Itadori Yuji denied. I don't know that guy well, it's just a fight. Todo Aoi froze for a moment, tears welling in his eyes. My dear friend, how can you say that? Did you forget to watch the new series on the rooftop? Forgot that I failed to confess to Takata? Did you still invite me to eat ramen? Ah, I really don't understand what you are talking about, please let me go. Itadori Yuji was numb, rushed out the door and ran away. Best friend, wait for me. Todo Aoi followed and ran out. The 3 people in the room, you look at me and I look at you, and then laugh out loud. Fushiguro Megumi adjusted his posture, from lying down to leaning, and said, Teacher Lin Feng, I have a question for you to ask. You say, Mr. Lin Feng beheaded that super cursed spirit's swordsmanship, can I learn it? Fushiguro Megumi asked the question in his heart. The battle yesterday, even though he was injured, he still witnessed the whole process. Teacher Lin Feng's astonishing swordsmanship is too powerful. For a moment, Lin Feng didn't know how to answer. He couldn't say that the sword skill had nothing to do with him, but the fact was that the move was all due to the sharp spear. Fuhei, Master Jujutsu's path requires not only cultivation but also mind cultivation. It is a big taboo to aim too high. You have inherited the Zenin family's inheritance spells. The 10 shadow spells are very good spells. If you practice them, your strength will become stronger. What you have to do is sink down. Lin Feng's opening is a set of panacea theory, although it is a bit routine, but it does apply to the current Fushiguro Megumi. This child's technique is used well, that is the Pokemon trainer, Shikigami one after another, the combination of punches falls, the enemy is hard to parry. Sink down. Fushiguro Megumi savored the words. Lin Feng patted Fushiguro Megumi on the shoulder. Although you can't learn my swordsmanship, I have already decided on your advanced practice direction, and I will leave it to you after the injury is healed. After an explanation, Lin Feng called Kugasaki Nobara out of the ward alone. Kajizaki, the teachers have not paid as much attention to you as Itadori and Fuguro. It's not because the teachers treat you differently but because of the teaching policy. Based on your spell ability, Wu Wu and I have discussed privately many times, and it was not until recently that we came up with your future path. As Lin Feng said, he picked up the box he just brought by his feet, and handed it to Kugasaki Nobara. Open it and have a look. Mr. Lin Feng, this is. Kugasaki Nobara took the box, opened the buckle, and the lid popped open, and there lay a pink cursed tool hammer and 3 pink nails inside. This is a gift for you. Lin Feng said warmly. There are 3 people in the first grade. Itadori is very nervous, and Fuhei is sometimes more rational. You, a girl, have indeed endured a lot of hard work. Kugasaki Nobara was very moved, his nose was slightly sour, and a layer of mist formed in his beautiful eyes. Mr. Lin Feng, you really are, I never cry. Are you crying? Lin Feng reached out and stroked the top of Kugasaki Nobara's head. A little red in the central plains doesn't cry. Kugasaki Nobara smiled, very happily. The next day. After a day of rest, the injured students of the Tokyo Institute and the Kyoto Institute can also move freely. According to the rules of the original sisters' exchange meeting in previous years, the second day should be a personal battle. But this year's situation is special, many people failed. Personal warfare has also changed its form. Substitutions Gojo Satoru chose baseball and Lin Feng chose table tennis. After rock paper scissors, Lin Feng wins. The project of individual warfare was implemented in table tennis. Inside the gymnasium, Zenin Maki hit 8 with 1 and ranked first with a complete victory. Others also drew lots for their opponents one after another, and then started fighting. In a piece of joy, the personal battle also came to an end. After this battle, after the people from the 2 schools got to know each other, their relationship improved a lot invisibly. The most obvious of these are Itadori Yuji and Todo Aoi. Not far away, Yi Masamiki and Gakuganji Yoshinobu sat on the bench, watching the students sweating. Does Principal Gakuganji still hate Itadori Yuji? Yi Masamiki asked. Gakuganji Yoshinobu glanced at Itadori Yuji, who couldn't catch the ball everywhere. It's not a matter of dislike. According to the rules of the Jujutsu world, Itadori Yuji cannot survive in this world. The reason why he is still alive now, to a certain extent, is your Yae's responsibility, and Lin Feng and Gojo Satoru are too messy, and their behavior has already made the higher-ups quite critical. Yi Masamiki, you can't just look at one side of everything, can't you? Look how harmonious the young people are. To a certain extent, Itadori Yuji has also saved many people, right? Gakuganji Yoshinobu pointed at a group of ants on the ground with his cane, and insisted, if there is a lack of special ants in a group of ants, then the group will have potential risks. Although special ants may have strong abilities, they are not a group after all. The interests of the group are paramount, and the rules of the group cannot be broken for individuals. In Itadori Yuji's body, although he can mix with Jujutsu Division now and be a good companion, the Ryomen Sukuna in his body is a ticking time bomb. There is a possibility that he could cause more deaths by being alive. I think it's too arbitrary to define it by possibility. Yae Masamiki said leisurely. Why just wait and see what happens? Gakuganji Yoshinobu was silent. Teacher, drink water. At this time, a voice that Gakuganji Yoshinobu least wanted to hear came out. Lin Feng came rushing forward pushing the car, and when it drifted to an emergency stop, the wheel of the car precisely crushed on the ant, and the wheel rolled again, leaving behind the carcass of the ant all over the place. Gakuganji Yoshinobu. Lin Feng took out the iced soda from the small refrigerator on the trolley, handed a bottle to Yae Masamiki, and gave another bottle to Gakuganji Yoshinobu. I don't need it. Allah. Lin Feng threw the iced soda back into the small refrigerator, just saved a bottle. The voice fell, and the cart headed towards the gymnasium. The sister exchange meeting between the Tokyo Academy and the Kyoto Academy, the second individual table tennis match. In the end, with the advantage of the Tokyo Academy, they won the fruits of victory. June, Morioka, Kaneda Taichi. August, Yokohama, Shimadaji. In September, Nagoya, Inwahiro. Quote, the 3 died with the same cause. They were all stabbed to death by cursed spirit at the entrance of the apartment where they lived. The cause of death was highly similar. They all complained to the property management company about the same problem a few weeks before their death. On the expressway heading to Saitama Prefecture, Ms. Akira Nida, who was then the assistant supervisor of Jujutsu High School, introduced the situation to the first-year trio while driving the car. Yes, the first grade also received the task of curse. It's just that this time there is no high-level instruction behind the scenes, it's just an ordinary task in the ward. The back seat of the car. Fushiguro Megumi was squeezed in the middle, holding a tablet in his hand. Itadori Yuji and Kugasaki Nobara sat on both sides, and the 3 looked at the deceased's file together. June, August, and September. The places and times of the 3 people who died were scattered. Is it the same cursed spirit? Fushiguro Megumi calmly analyzed. As for whether it was the same cursed spirit, it is impossible to draw a conclusion based on the magic power of the residuals at the scene. You should know that mantra residuals will disappear over time. Generally, homicides are classified as criminal cases, and the police department will choose to report them only after they notice something unusual. It was passed to Master Jujutsu, and it can no longer be deduced as evidence. Nida Akira said slowly. The current limited information is that the 3 deceased had attended the same school in Saitama Prefecture. That is to say, all of them have been under the same curse before. Kugasaki Nobara analyzed. It's not impossible. Of course, these require the professional perspective of your jujutsu masters. Itadori Yuji wowed. Nagizaki-san, as expected of you, great reasoning. Thinking about problems is not Itadori Yuji's forte. He is responsible for fighting and blowing rainbow farts. After a while, Uramihito Junior High School in Saitama City. A group of people came to the school to search for clues. At this time, it was class time. When they came to an old teaching building, they saw 2 delinquent teenagers squatting in the dark, secretly smoking. Hey, 2 delinquent boys. Kugasaki Nobara yawned in every possible way. Seeing the bad boy, he seemed to see some fun, and strode over. How about I beat the bad boy so that they can change their minds? Kijizaki, don't forget our business. Akira Nida gave a warning. Kugasaki Nobara curled his lips, and the 2 delinquent boys next to him had a lot of backbone, cut off their cigarette butts, and were about to talk to Kugasaki Nobara. At this time, Itadori Yuji took 2 steps, and this walk revealed the figure of Fushiguro Megumi behind him. The 2 delinquent boys immediately changed their faces at the speed of light. Brother Fuhei, why are you here? Itadori Yuji and Kugasaki Nobara were dumbfounded by the sound of Fuhei. Wait, idiot AB, why do you call this guy Brother Fuhei? Kugasaki Nobara strode up to Fushiguro Megumi and grabbed him instantly. The delinquent boy looked at Fushiguro Megumi's face, and stammered, because Brother Fuhei beat up all the delinquents in the neighborhood when he was in middle school, all over. The truth came out. Fushiguro Megumi, who has always been taciturn, had such a passionate experience, and the gossip talents of Torimura Yuji and Akuzaki Araki were burning. Who are you? At this time, a gray-haired school employee came over, and when he came to him, he also recognized Fushiguro Megumi, its classmate Fuhei. Mr. Takeda. Fushiguro Megumi greeted. Mr. Takeda is the person with the longest tenure in the school, longer than the current principal. Through his mouth, everyone also learned some important clues. It had been more than 20 years since the 3 deceased had attended this school. At that time, the bungee jumping incident at the 88th bridge that caused a sensation in the whole school had 3 dead people on the list of major demerits by the school, and the clues were connected. 88 bridge bungee jumping, what's that? Itadori Yuji looked at Fushiguro Megumi. Fushiguro Megumi. Hachijubashi Bridge is a well-known suicide shrine among students in Saitama Prefecture. Suicide shrine. Without continuing to satisfy Itadori Yuji's curiosity, Fushiguro Megumi and Mr. Takeda thanked him and then turned and left the school. That night, 88 bridges in Lizico Gorge. Akira Nida drove the trio of first graders to their destination. The 88th bridge is a high bridge. The bridge deck and ground are very high, giving people a feeling of being on the edge of a cliff. This road is not the main road in Saitama. Over the years, it has been gradually abandoned. The road surface has not been maintained, and it has been in disrepair for a long time. One end leads to the mountains, and few people pass by on weekdays. Hoo-hoo, everyone got out of the car, and the night wind was blowing, which made people feel a chill down their backs. It feels weird in here. Itadori Yuji looked around. Schools and ghost places are places where curses are easy to gather. After so many years of accumulation here, it will naturally be like this. Fushiguro Megumi looked very familiar. Holy place of suicide, does Fuhei often come to this kind of place? Ouch! Itadori Yuji hadn't finished speaking when Fushiguro Megumi raised his head and hit him on the head. I came here to perform inspection missions before. Akira Nida did not get out of the car, and directly explained, once I find cursed spirit, I will set up accounts around, and then I will leave it to you. The auxiliary supervisor can also see cursed spirit clearly, but the combat power is incomparable with the Jujutsu division, so he can only be competent for the work of arranging tents and cleaning the battlefield. Okay. After the car drove away, Itadori Yuji, Fushiguro Megumi, and Kugasaki Nobara leaned on the bridge railing, and a few cars passed by from time to time. This wait is more than an hour. Hey, I said, how long will we have to wait? The day lily is getting cold. Kugasaki Nobara yawned, feeling very unhappy. Itadori Yuji rubbed his sore eyes and looked at Fushiguro Megumi as well. There is no cursed spirit aura, no spell power residuals, it looks like it won't appear tonight. Fushiguro Megumi turned and walked back, find a place to eat first, and inform the supervisor. At the entrance of the nearest 24-hour convenience store to Bashibachao. The four of them each had a sandwich and a bottle of mineral water, took a few bites casually, and then began to discuss the suspicious points of the incident. Akira Nida stuttered the sandwich. You said that you have waited for a long time, but you don't have the slightest breath of cursed spirit and mana power residuals. That's not right. If cursed spirit doesn't exist in 88 bridges, then why did the 3 people who died all go to the same school and went to that place? This is where the doubts lie. Fushiguro Megumi said. As long as cursed spirit makes a move, it will leave clues, but now there is no trace, and we can only wait for cursed spirit to kill again. Itadori Yuji was in no mood to eat. Ah, what is the clue? I don't want anyone to die. Just when the 4 of them were at a loss, a bicycle rode over. Senior Fuhei. Everyone looked back. The person who came was a delinquent boy in the school, and he was accompanied by an introverted girl with short hair. Fujima. Fushiguro Megumi recognized the girl. Student Fuhei, thank you for remembering me, the introverted girl said in a soft voice. Hey, what are you doing here? Kugasaki Nobara said a little grumpily. I heard you guys say something about the 88 bridge in school yesterday, so I wondered if it might be related. My sister has been to that place. After the voice fell, several people were shocked immediately. Nida Akira signaled with his eyes, everyone should keep their mouths shut, and don't let ordinary people panic. Under the flickering of Nida Akira and Kugasaki Nobara, Fujinuma also talked about that experience. In the second year of junior high school, she went to that place to test her courage with the seniors of the club. Fuhei, Sumiki was there at the time. As soon as this sentence came out, Hyuga Binkuo's disgusted black smoked immediately lost his expression control. Itadori Yuji found that something was wrong with Fushiguro Megumi, and just about to ask why, Fushiguro Megumi walked aside with a cold face. Itadori, leave Fuhei alone for a while. Kugasaki Nobara saw a clue, and although he didn't know the reason, he still called Itadori Yuji. On the other side, Fushiguro Megumi came to the side of the road alone. His face paled instantly, his body trembling uncontrollably, and after a while, he made a phone call. Mr. Aijichi, send relevant Jujutsu divisions to protect Kenmiji. Aijichi on the other end of the phone looked like he knew that Fushiguro Megumi would call him. Fukuro, Sumiji will be safe. These are the original words of teacher Lin Feng. He asked me to tell you to carry out the plan well. Just do the job. Listening to the voice on the phone, Fushiguro Megumi's eyes that had lost color instantly brightened up, and he said firmly, yes. Please tell Mr. Lin Feng, Mr. Aijichi, that I will not disappoint his expectations. By the time Fushiguro Megumi returned to the 24-hour convenience store, Akira Nida had already driven 2 ordinary people home, leaving only Itadori Yuji and Kugasaki Nobara. Hey, are you all right? Kugasaki Nobara asked worriedly. I'm fine. Itadori Yuji even expressed worry on his face. Fuhei, what happened to you? Tell us, we will find a solution together and solve it together. Kugasaki Nobara reached out and grabbed Itadori Yuji's red hood. Everyone has their own secrets, you dull fool. Fushiguro Megumi looked at the 2 companions who were arguing again, a smile flickered across the corner of his mouth. Itadori, Nagasaki, I'm fine, now let's deal with that cursed spirit. Kugasaki Nobara stopped tidying up Itadori Yuji, and said puzzledly, isn't there no clue? Cursed spirit's breath and spell power residuals don't have it. Where can we find cursed spirit? Fushiguro Megumi walked in the direction of 84 bridges, and the voice drifted over. Since curse at 84 bridges can still happen after more than 20 years, no matter where there are breaths and residuals, it is worth watching. Look. Since there are no clues on the bridge, let's go down and find out. When the dawn is about to break, the sky is getting brighter. The first-year trio returned to 88 Bridge. Quail. Fushiguro Megumi activated the spell and summoned the quail. Li Dezhao, Quail flew high with the three of them, and then swooped down towards the bottom of the 88 Bridge. Under the 88th Bridge, when diving down from the bridge deck, through layers of mist, I finally saw the bottom of the bridge below. At this time, the river has almost dried up, and there is only a trickle in the wide river channel. The plants and stones on the banks of the surrounding rivers have a strange feeling. This place is weird. Itadori Yuji, who has always been nervous, also saw the clue, and Fushiguro Megumi immediately let the quail land on the river bed. The bottom of the 88 Bridge is like a strange world. Even though there were no tents around, the smell of curse in the air became more and more intense. Chapter 71. The moon hangs high. The trio turned around along the river, and after a few laps, they didn't see curse at all. Fushiguro Megumi frowned, considering the possibilities. Order. Kugasaki Nobara said. Fujinuma didn't come to the 88 Bridge at that time, so the bungee jumping was a cover, and the courage test was carried out under the bridge. Just now we went from top to bottom, the order was wrong, so we didn't see it. It's amazing. Itadori Yuji was surprised. How did Nazuki know this? Women have a sixth sense. Kugasaki Nobara gave you two men a more tender expression. Before, in front of the 24-hour convenience store, Fuhei called worriedly. While you were looking around, Ms. Nida and I chatted with Fujinuma for a while. Quote. What Fujinuma said is half true and half false. She did participate in the courage test, but she really didn't jump off the bridge. The reason why she said that may be that all the people who participated at that time said the same thing, or it was curse. The curse of 88 bridges will only appear in front of the cursed, which is enough to prove this point. Kugasaki Nobara's reasoning directly made Itadori Yuji, a nervous person, understand, that is to say, we ran directly under the bridge, which is still a breakthrough. Kugasaki Nobara looked up at the bright moon in the sky. Since it is not possible to go from top to bottom, to go from bottom to top. On a moonlit night, while there is still some time before dawn, hurry up and endure it, my skin. The three of them continued to walk along the river, and when they came to a straight line, they stepped on it, and suddenly, the spell power around them surged, and the birth field enveloped the three of them in an instant. Like a giant beast's esophagus, the living domain appeared in front of his eyes, and a gopher-like cursed spirit emerged from the esophagus wall. Found it. However, just when the three of them were about to have a big fight, a strange breath suddenly broke in and rushed over at top speed. Itadori Yuji turned his head first, and saw an afterimage flashing past from one side. It was an ugly green guy with an open mouth on his belly, and he launched a surprise attack without saying a word. Careful. The three dodged, and the cursed CHFD spirit flew into the air. Kugasaki Nobara stared at the sudden cursed spirit. This guy's style of painting should not belong to the same group. Whether it is or not, as long as it is cursed spirit, it will be punished. Itadori Yuji said firmly, leave this guy to me. After such a long period of running in, although the trio is joking and chasing and fighting every day, the bond and tacit understanding among the three have long been deeply rooted. Itadori Yuji offered to fight the uninvited guest alone, and Fushiguro Megumi and Kugasaki Nobara's attention was turned elsewhere in an instant. Do you want to play with me? Cursed spirit's words sounded intermittently. Boom. What responded was Itadori Yuji's iron fist. Itadori Yuji's fist was fast and heavy. In an instant, more than a dozen punches hit Cursed Spirit's face. Cursed Spirit was beaten back steadily, bleeding a lot from his body. There is no time to breathe. The body skills like a storm swept over. Itadori Yuji has been trained by Lin Feng for a long time and tutored with a close friend of Todo Aoi. His own strength is no longer Wuxia. Boom, boom. Cursed Spirit was beaten like a ground gourd, and got out of the way. You are quite strong, and you are not happy at all. Cursed Spirit's voice became clearer. Itadori Yuji glanced at the vertical wall next to him, and there was a scorching breath from the place sprayed by Cursed Spirit. Is there poison in this guy's blood? Brother, it's my brother. Suddenly, Cursed Spirit, who was about to launch an attack 1 second, yelled frantically his brother the next second, and then flew straight towards Itadori Yuji. "Hey, you!" Itadori Yuji hurriedly chased after him. On the other side of the Born Field, Fushiguro Megumi faced the densely packed cursed spirits alone. The horror of these cursed spirits was not in their individual strength, but in their numbers. "Fuguro, where's Kizuki?" Itadori Yuji's voice sounded. Fushiguro Megumi clenched the cursed tool in his hand. "Itadori, you came at the right time. Just now, Nagasaki was caught by another cursed spirit out of the birth area. Go and help her, her cursed spirit is stronger. Kijizaki is preferred over me." "I see." Born outside the field, Kugasaki Nobara was dragged out by an extremely alluring man. "Asshole, did I allow you to touch me?" Kugasaki Nobara rotated in the air, and the hammer-pinning bullet was set to hammer out. Ding! The coquettish man made an evasive movement of scratching his head and dodging the sharp blow. Well, it turned out to be a woman. That's really rude. Under the moonlight, after Kugasaki Nobara saw the true face of the person opposite, goosebumps fell all over the floor. She couldn't accept this style of painting. "This beautiful lady, my name is Bad Phase. The mission performed by the two of us brothers does not include killing Jujutsu Division. If you leave now, I can spare your life." The bad face covered his mouth and smiled lightly. "Miss, leave quickly, don't get too close, and don't look behind me, or I will kill you." However, the elegance of the bad look didn't last for 2 seconds before it was ruthlessly broken. "Hey, Nazuki, you are here." A black passage enchantment appeared on the mountain wall behind Bad Phase. Itadori Yuji and Shuei-tu jumped out of it one after another, their gazes naturally fell behind Bad Phase. "Ah, I saw it. You saw it, right? Kill you." The bad guy went berserk, and the weird big face behind him started to spurt out weird blood. Erosion and corruption, the ultimate. Winged King. The bad face made an extremely flamboyant pose. The Winged King form is a state in which the bad form really intends to kill. The special blood spurts from the pupils of the weird big face behind and condenses into a wing-like entity in an instant. As long as the heart moves at will, the attack range and destructive power of Blood Wing cannot be resisted head-on. Kijizaki, 36 moves are the best plan, run. Itadori Yuji was afraid that Kugasaki Nobara would not be able to react, so he picked him up and ran away. Kugasaki Nobara wanted to reprimand, but found that Itadori Yuji was faster than running by himself, so forget it, leave it to me behind the scenes. A clear sword sound sounded, and the cursed tool cut out a crescent-shaped sword light, and the sword light flashed past, disintegrating all the densely packed cursed spirits. Fuhei held the cursed tool Teidao, pointing at the edge of the sword. All exposed Gopher's cursed spirit were cut off. Just under the slash, Fushiguro Megumi's sword eyebrows really wrinkled more and more. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. How could the cursed spirit under the 88 bridge be like this? At the 24-hour convenience store, when Fujinuma said that Sumiki had also participated in the Yashibashi courage test at that time, he felt as if he had been struck by lightning. This was the pain he was least willing to mention in his heart. Sister Sumiki has been lethargic for a long time So when Fushiguro Megumi heard the clue about his sister, he lost his composure completely. After getting the support of Lin Feng teacher, he resumed his usual determination to be completely cursed by 88 bridges. There is also a thought in my heart, is it possible for Jin Meiji to wake up? Although he didn't want to admit it, what he had to admit was that his hopes were now in vain. Because as far as the Gopher cursed spirit he was fighting against, the curses under these cursed spirits are far from being able to reach the level of Sumiki's, that is to say, Sumiki still has curses that he doesn't understand at present, may erupt at any time. Hateful. Fushiguro Megumi held the cursed tool Tachi and cut the cursed spirit that appeared in front of him. Is it over? Fushiguro Megumi picked himself up quickly, as he was about to support Itadori Yuji and Kugasaki Nobara. A sarcoma flower bud suddenly appeared on the upper wall of the birth domain. The flower bud was agitated, and an object was spit out and fell to the ground between opening and closing. When the smoke clears, a familiar figure appeared. It is exactly the same existence as the cursed spirit in the Youth Academy. Fushiguro Megumi was stunned. No, it's not that one, it's an existence stronger than that one at that time. Daitian made a bow gesture with both hands, and the bright yellow mantra formed the mantra bowstring and arrows. Call out. The mantra arrow burst out. Fushiguro Megumi didn't dare to be careless, and stepped out, threw the cursed tool sword into the air, and made a seal with both hands, quail. The shadow-style bird flies around the cursed tool Teidao in the air, and attaches its own lightning strike attribute to the cursed tool Teidao. This trick is an advanced practice method given to him by Lin Feng, a new form that combines shadow magic with cursed tool. Pila. The cursed tool dagger fell back into Fushiguro Megumi's hand, and a free arc lingered around him. Fushiguro Megumi slashed horizontally with his sword, and the half-moon slash mixed with electric light flew out, colliding with the magic arrow. The entire life field trembled. Leaping high in the air and raising his arms high, the magic power condensed from the top to form a giant energy sphere, which smashed down on Fushiguro Megumi. As expected of a high-level cursed spirit, its strength, speed, and wisdom are not comparable to ordinary cursed spirits. Fushiguro Megumi looked stern. He couldn't resist a large-scale spell attack, but he wanted to try. Quail, strengthen the lightning attribute injection. Fushiguro Megumi gave the order. Combining Shikigami with Cursed Tool, Fushiguro Megumi can use the attribute ability of Shikigami through Cursed Tool, but this does not mean that it can be used freely. Fushiguro Megumi's spells and Jujutsu do not have attribute abilities. The reason why he can use the electric shock of the quail is through trial and error. Once you let go of the restriction, it will be a loss to yourself. Call out. The quail waved its wings and poured the lightning strike into the cursed tool Teidao. Fushiguro Megumi held the cursed tool Tachi tightly, and the lightning strikes that exceeded the limit had already begun to drift in his body. Jihei. Fushiguro Megumi puts the sword back into its sheath, draws the sword instantly, and cuts immediately. Base. A thick thunder light sword whizzed out, cutting the magic energy ball in half, and Yuei's thunderlight even hit the curse fetus Daitian and blasted it down. Well, in less than 3 seconds, Fushiguro Megumi could already feel the lightning load running through his body. Like electrical appliances, when the electrical power and current output power are different, it will cause a short circuit. Fushiguro Megumi uses such a huge amount of lightning, which is a huge load on his body. He can't last long, and he must end the battle quickly. The curse womb Daishin got up from the ground, and what greeted him was the oncoming blade. Not far away, the long tongue of Shikigami shrimp flew out and bound the hand of the curse-born Daishin. Fushiguro Megumi fell from the sky, and his sword slashed like thunder. One arm was severed. Daitian, a cursed fetus, wants to restore his arm, but the new one has all the original flesh. Fushiguro Megumi swung his knife and slashed up again like an emotional killer. After more than a dozen stabs in a row, Fushiguro Megumi cut Daitian into several pieces, and his head was stabbed with a knife. PFF'd. After killing Daitian, Fushiguro Megumi's body has also reached its limit. His own spell power was disordered, the summoning of the quail and shrimp membranes was suspended, and the whole person fell to the ground powerlessly. Just before passing out, Fushiguro Megumi found one of Ryomen Sukuna's fingers among the minced meat. Fushiguro Megumi fell asleep. At the same time, Itadori Yuji was holding Kugasaki Nobara in the woods, spitting wildly, chasing bad looks, waving blood wings, everything in front of him was destroyed. Kijizaki, there is no way. Itadori Yuji rushed out of the forest first, and the highway came into view, and the bottomless valley was under the guardrail ahead. Brush. Due to rushing too fast, Itadori Yuji couldn't stop the car for a while, and quickly blocked Kugasaki Nobara in front of him, and he hit the roadside guardrail. Itadori, how are you? Kugasaki Nobara looked at the deformed guardrail, worried about Itadori Yuji's body. No problem. Although he grinned his teeth in pain, he still pretended to be relaxed. Kijizaki, be careful. Suddenly Itadori Yuji pushed Kugasaki Nobara away, and the next moment, the blood smear appeared in front of him, and he opened his mouth to spurt out a mouthful of poisonous blood. The poisonous blood was mostly blocked by Itadori Yuji, and a small part was touched by Kugasaki Nobara. Well, Itadori Yuji, who was extremely tolerant, couldn't help humming. On one of his arms and face, where the poisonous blood adhered, the skin and flesh were gone. Itadori Yuji was supported by Kugasaki Nobara. Miss, don't worry too much. Although my brother's blood is poisonous, it does not kill you if you touch it. With that young man's physique, it is not a problem to last 15 minutes. Even if it's my blood, as long as it doesn't soak the whole body, I won't die immediately, although it will be painful. The next step is the highlight of our technique. Bad Phase walked over slowly. Perhaps because of his murderous intentions, he was not as irritable as before. Bad Phase raised his right arm, with his little finger and thumb sticking out. Erosion and decay, decay. The voice fell. Where Itadori Yuji and Kugasaki Nobara were sprayed with poisonous blood, strange black lines formed into a rose shape. The mucous membrane, the wound, the blood of any one of our brothers. After any one of our brothers activates the operation, it will start to corrode from the invasion site. As I said just now, the boy can last for 15 minutes, and for the lady, it will take about 10 minutes. Once the time is up, the two of you will turn into a puddle of blood. So, what are you going to do? The bad-looking eyes narrowed slightly, as if waiting for the reaction of Itadori Yuji and Kugasaki Nobara. 10 minutes. Itadori Yuji looked at Kugasaki Nobara and nodded. Kugasaki, we will not die. Stupid, we wouldn't have died in the first place. Even with the highly poisonous spell on their bodies, the two of them did not panic, which actually made the bad face look a little different. Oh, not bad courage. As a reward for your courage, I will let you finish the remaining 10 minutes of life. Why? The blood smeared and ran to the side of the bad face. Gigi, you are so gentle. Brother, I have always been like this. Itadori Yuji wiped off the blood on his face, looked at the contrast between the bad look and the blood smear, and asked, hey, if you two are brothers, why do you look so different? When Bad Shong heard this question, he said calmly, this may be your last wish, so let me tell you. At the beginning of the Meiji period, a woman with a special constitution capable of conceiving a son of cursed spirit became pregnant inexplicably, and her family members criticized her more and more. She took the dead body of the child and fled to the temple of a certain jujutsu master, but her fate fell to the bottom. Kamo Kenron, along with the numerous jujutsu cultural relics left in history, is the most notorious sorcerer, the stain of the big three sorcerer families. His curiosity focused on the child born between cursed spirit and humans, 9 pregnancies, 9 abortions, how it was carried out, and her whereabouts after that. All records were destroyed. The 9 phases of the cursed embryo, number 1 to number 3, are cursed objects that can be classified as special grades. Is the source of their magic power hatred or love for their mother? Shui Tu continued. I don't have any memory of my mother, neither do humans, nor does Master Jujutsu. The reason why I act like this is only what my brothers hope. As long as it is what brothers want, I will do whatever I want. The experience of the bad face and the blood smear fell into the ears of the two on the side, and they had a new definition. Itadori Yuji and Kugasaki Nobara made eye contact. Kajisaki, are you ready? We're going to kill. Idiot, I can start anytime. Very good. Itadori Yuji walked towards the bad face, moving his body while walking, and his joints were crackling. Why, you obviously have a few minutes to live, why are you still fighting? It's too painful, and you can't wait to die. Okay. Bad Phase licked his lips. I can kill you and help you relieve some pain. Itadori Yuji walked with strides, the corner of his mouth raised a slight arc. You were wrong, the real battle has just begun. Nani? Kugasaki Nobara covered his belly and laughed, bent down. As long as you hit it, you can win. You are very strong, but you are very bad with me. After the words fell, Kugasaki Nobara's expression became sickly, and he took out 3 Zouling nails, and directly drove them into his arm. Zouling spell. The spell was activated, and the bad-looking and blood-stained soul seemed to be nailed into the nail. Do you really think I'm knocking those nails for fun? Kugasaki Nobara took out 3 wrinkle nails again, nailed them into the arm again, and the arm was pierced. Come on, who can bear the pain more than Bibi? Bad Face and Shueitu's footsteps were swaying. The feeling of being attacked by the soul was really uncomfortable, and Shueitu, who was weaker in strength, spurted out a few mouthfuls of old blood. Brother, I'm in so much pain. However, this is not the end. Next moment, Itadori Yuji lunged at the blood-stained face, hugged it and kneeled it, knocking it out of the way, then put one hand on the ground, and Thomas kicked back and forth, towards the bad face. Kuaixiong raised his hand to defend, but was still kicked away by Itadori Yuji's kick. Bad Phase was stunned. What's with this monster-like power? The battle has just begun. Itadori Yuji and Kugasaki Nobara's expressions were synchronized, and they attacked the two brothers desperately. Completely shameless play. Kugasaki Nobara seemed to have no illusions, and used his own hand incorrectly. When he was about to fight back with bad looks and blood smears, Zouling nailed into his arm to prevent him from moving. Itadori Yuji seized the opportunity and played violently. The two seemed to be competing. Gigi. The blood smear was hanged and beaten in various ways, and the blood flowed as if he didn't want money. Jingting fist. Itadori Yuji wraps a small amount of mana into his fist, blasts out with one punch, and lands two strikes on the enemy. Gigi. Winged King. The bad form showed the Winged King form again, and poisonous blood spewed out towards Itadori Yuji. Itadori Yuji stopped, did not evade, but rolled up his sleeves and trouser legs, and untied the lead weights of the cursed tool one by one. The 4 lead blocks of the cursed tool fell to the ground, directly smashing a big hole in the ground. Brush. After Itadori Yuji took off the lead weight of the cursed tool, he moved. Boom. An air explosion sounded. He only heard his voice, but not his person. To be precise, before the sound fell completely, Itadori Yuji had already come in front of the bad figure. Black flash. Itadori Yuji punched the bad figure's abdomen, and 0.00001 seconds later, the magic power was conveyed a beat later, and twisted black and red lightning appeared. Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. The bad-looking figure burst out and landed on the ground like a cannonball. The huge impact pushed his figure into the depths of the woods, and everything he passed was a mess. The surface of the expressway was chapped, and the spreading cracks pointed directly at the roadside forest. The dense area in the forest has been opened up into a barren area. The bad face was lying in the woods, it was hit by black flash in the front, and there were such shocking marks directly on its body. Wow! The bad face was spitting out blood, and when he looked down, his abdomen had been pierced. Elder brother. The wounded blood smear quickly ran to Bad Shong, and the whole cursed spirit went numb. Brother, you are injured. You are seriously injured. The bloody smear was running around in a hurry, and blood oozed from its eye sockets. It didn't have lacrimal glands, so it couldn't show human tears, but at this moment, it was really sad and anxious. Shuetu. Bad Shong grabbed Shuetu. Help me up. The bad phase stood up tremblingly, and the abdomen hit by black flash recovered at an extremely slow speed. Smeared with blood, let's fight back. No, I'm already here. Like a gust of wind passing by, Itadori Yuji has come behind bad phase. The two brothers were taken aback. This speed. Even the sound is almost gone. Itadori Yuji assumed a fighting posture, with a determined look on his face. I will give you a choice, to release the spell immediately. Impossible. You injured my brother, you all have to die. Shuetu said sharply. Responding to the blood smear was a fist and kick without long eyes. After the restriction was lifted, Itadori Yuji's speed became qualitatively faster. Not to mention seeing the movement clearly, it was extremely difficult to judge where it landed. Boom. Itadori Yuji was bloodied with one punch, and the second force exploded at the same point. PFF'd. The blood-stained abdomen was punctured. Itadori Yuji clenched his fists into claws, pressed the blood-smeared head and fell to the ground, and a green onion planted in the dry land directly planted the blood smear. Younger brother. Looking at the blood smeared and abused by blood, it is heartbreaking. Cursed Embryo 9-Phase Diagram, number 1 to number 3 are special grade cursed objects. For 100 years, they rely on their own blood to establish fetters. After owning the entity, they become human brothers. Blood is thicker than water. The 9 phases of the cursed embryo has no memory of its mother, nor humans, cursed spirit, or even hatred. The reason why it appeared on the 88 bridge was entirely because of the wishes of the brothers. The eldest brother decided that it would be better for the 3 brothers to follow the cursed spirit side, so the 3 brothers reached a cooperation with the cursed spirit side and came to collect Ryomen Sukuna's finger. The bad phase lives for the blood smear lives for the swelling phase, and the swelling phase lives for the bad phase. 3 brothers are one. As the saying goes, when the body is covered with blood, the pain lies in the bad heart, that's how it is. Stop. Bad phase yelled. Itadori Yuji closed his fist and let go of the half-dead blood for the time being. The technique can be undone, but now there is a situation. Bad Shong said. My brother and I have the same technique, and now I was punched by you to the root. My brother was beaten to death by you again. So, with the current situation of the two of us brothers, it is impossible to remove the effect of the spell on two of them, but only one. When the voice of the bad guy falls, the expression must be as sincere as possible. What it said was half truth and half false. It was true that he was injured and his brother was blood-smeared half dead, but it was pure nonsense that he couldn't remove the effect of the spell on the two of them. It's up to you to decide who to lift the spell on. Itadori Yuji said without hesitation. Do you still need to ask? Quickly remove the effect of the spell on Nagasaki. Oh, the bad-looking expression froze. You don't think about yourself first, but about that woman. Quick resolve eliminate. Itadori Yuji wrapped his fist with magic power, and the fist aimed at the blood smear. I'll immediately lift the spell on that woman. Kugasaki Nobara curled up on the ground, unbearable pain spreading all over his body. The constant pain from the blood corrosion technique and Zhou Lingding's penetrating wound were constantly tormenting her. All of a sudden, Kugasaki Nobara only felt that the pain caused by the blood corruption technique was greatly relieved, and then all the discomfort gradually disappeared. Did that Itadori guy get cursed spirit? Kugasaki Nobara got up from the ground. The pain from the blood erosion technique had completely disappeared. However, in the next moment, Itadori Yuji's figure flew out of the forest, his body covered in bruises. Itadori. Kugasaki Nobara hurriedly rushed up to help Itadori Yuji, and the bad-looking and blood-stained figure walked out of the forest. Young man, are you almost at your limit? The blood-smeared monster shouted. Really, just now I had the opportunity to let my brother remove the effect of the spell on you, but you let my brother remove the effect of the woman's body. Dragging the flesh that was tortured by the blood corruption technique, how can we defeat us? Itadori. Kugasaki Nobara already felt that Itadori Yuji was not in good shape. No matter how strong Itadori Yuji's physical strength was, it was impossible for him to be fine with the effect of the spell. Now 10 minutes have passed, and the stick is already seriously injured. So human beings have always been restrained by useless emotions. Family affection, friendship, and love are so ridiculous that it makes me sick. The blood splatter stepped on the mine accurately, jumped left and right in the minefield, and yelled trash. You can run on your own, but you still have to worry about that woman. You are a complete idiot. Forget it, let us two brothers send you on your way. Who do you want to send on the road? Suddenly, Itadori Yuji's voice rang out abruptly. I saw that the seriously injured and weak man who needed someone to support him 1 second became alive and well the next second. This turn of events directly stunned Kugasaki Nobara, who was full of grief. Hey, don't you guys come back to life? That's not the case, Itadori Yuji said. Nagizaki, have you forgotten? I am the container of Ryomen Sukuna, and Ryomen Sukuna is the king of curses. There is no way such a poison can hurt me. Nani. The bad face and the blood smear were so shocking that my jaw almost fell to the ground. I couldn't believe it, and said repeatedly, you guy is in the woods, with a rotten body. Is the appearance of being tortured by the blood rot technique just a faux pas? Itadori Yuji grinned. Otherwise, if I don't pretend, would you be willing to release the trapped style on Sake? Kugasaki Nobara turned around and wiped away the tears from the corners of his eyes, and resumed his Iron Lady posture. For the sake of you trying to undo the spell for me, you don't have to worry about deceiving me. The bad mood is broken. This guy Itadori Yuji's physical skills are like ghosts, and now he is still immune to his own martial arts, so what's wrong with him? The horn of counterattack has sounded. Kugasaki Nobara took out the mace and looked at the bad face and blood smear like prey. Itadori, I want it. Voice down. Itadori Yuji charged directly in front of Bad Shong. Ji-Ting fist repeatedly hit Bad Zhang's body, spraying his blood wildly. But the blood smear had a mouth in place, and when he realized it, the Zhou nail had already been driven into its mouth. Wow. Itadori Yuji and Kugasaki Nobara divided the battlefield, reconciled each other and divided each other. Exasperated, Zushui opened his mouth to spray out poisonous blood, and Kugasaki Nobara moved swiftly. Ugly, don't be ashamed of human emotions. Zhou Ling mantra resonance. Kugasaki Nobara hammered the Zhou Ling nail on his arm, and the resonance was activated, and the nail that had already been driven into Shuihua's body became active again. The blood smear is worthy of the name blood smear. The amount of bleeding is extremely alarming. Completely speechless, can only fall to the ground and vomit blood. The bad looks on the other side are not much better. Kugasaki Nobara's technique has always affected it. After Zhou Ling resonated, his soul was torn apart. Itadori Yuji never let go of any opportunity to attack. The fist shadow like a storm blasted on Bad Zhang's body, deforming his body. Bad Shang found sadly that, let alone dodging Itadori Yuji's attack, he couldn't even see clearly, and he couldn't defend himself if he saw clearly. This guy's fists are really heavy. Elder brother. The blood-smeared voice cried out horribly. Brother. Bad looked at the bloody smear that was abused by Kugasaki Nobara, and his heart ached. If you ignore the fact that they are cursed spirit, then Itadori Yuji and Kugasaki Nobara are more like villains at the moment. Boom. Itadori Yuji played supernaturally, and another black flash blasted out. When the bad reaction came to his senses, his right arm had been smashed to pieces. What the hell is this black flash? Itadori, get rid of them. Kugasaki Nobara's voice came over. Okay. Itadori Yuji's punch was ready to go, and the mana was delayed. During the delay of 0.00001 seconds, the black and red lightning appeared again. Bad Phase's pupils shrank suddenly. It tastes the taste of death. Brother, run away. The blood splatter that fell on the ground suddenly exploded and attacked Kugasaki Nobara from behind, trying to buy time for Badu. Kugasaki Nobara didn't look back. This move is something you've never seen before. Zhou Ling mantra hyphenation point hairpin. The blood-stained body froze, the Zhou Ling nail in his body exploded, and the shattered wrinkle needle flashed past, bursting the blood-stained body. Younger brother. Sorry. Itadori Yuji punched Bad Zhang's chest with the momentum, and with the power of Black Flash, half of his identity was smashed into pieces. Wow. The bad face fell down straight, and at the moment of the end of its life, it grabbed Itadori Yuji's pant leg. Please, please, please let our brother's body, reunion. Itadori Yuji fulfilled Kuaishu's last wish. After a while, Itadori Yuji and Kugasaki Nobara went back the same way and walked under the 88 bridge. In the middle of the river, they found Fushiguro Megumi lying on the ground unconscious. Although Fushiguro Megumi was also covered in paint, Itadori Yuji and Kugasaki Nobara were relieved to see his belly rise and fall. At least he was alive. Well, Fushiguro Megumi had a movement, slowly came to his senses, and saw the two people in front of him. Hey, you. It's all settled, no problem. Itadori Yuji held out his hand to Fushiguro Megumi. Let's go up together. In this way, the three people who hung the lottery found 3 branches, and walked up to them in a nonchalant manner. 88 bridges. In front of the Jujutsu High School car, Nida Akira was furious when he saw the 3 people appearing. You 3 acted without authorization. You didn't let the debt go, and you did it like this. Hey, you got hurt. I'm sorry, Miss Nida. Itadori Yuji laughed and said, for details, let's go back and talk about it. The sky brightened. Somewhere in a karaoke room, Xiaoyuji was playing cards with Junren and Zhongshang, when suddenly, the cards in Zhang Zhang's hand slipped. The real person half-jokingly said, even if you lose a few hands, you won't be unable to hold a steady hand, right? 2 of my younger brothers are dead. Swelling said calmly. Ah, do I want to say sorry for the change? Zhongshang looked directly at Xiaoyuji. You guys told me to go to that place. It is said that the cursed spirit there is only the experience that Su Wei pointed out. Drip. Xiaoyuji took out his mobile phone, and when he saw the message on it, he was also startled. The results came out. Your 2 younger brothers died not at the hands of cursed spirit, but at the 1st grade of Jujutsu High School. Tokyo Prefectural Jujutsu High School. The first-year trio returned to high school after excluding curse from Yakibashi, Saitama Prefecture. After being treated by Ieripin, he has been transferred to the general ward. My dear friend, I will wait for you to recover, then we will practice together and go to Shao Takada's meeting together. Toto, just let me be clean for a while. Lin Feng opened the door and walked into the ward, and saw such a scene. In the ward, the first-year trio were all recuperating on the hospital bed. Itadori Yuji's bed was next to the window. At this moment, on the windowsill of the ward, a burly figure squatted on it, carrying fruit in his hand, and was about to come in from the outside. Teacher Lin Feng. Fushiguro Megumi and Kugasaki Nobara saw Lin Feng walk in, and Chi-Chi said hello. Todo Aoi outside the window was startled, and was a little embarrassed to be caught. Student Todo, next time you can come in through the main entrance, please come in first. Okay. After receiving the consent, Todo Aoi moved a small stool and sat next to Itadori Yuji, babbling while peeling an apple. Lin Feng sat between the beds of Fushiguro Megumi and Kugasaki Nobara, and put a bag of kikufu in hands on the table. This is what Wu asked me to bring to you. He is on a business trip. Kikufuku from Kikuin, he strongly recommends the edamame milk flavor. The expressions of Fushiguro Megumi and Kugasaki Nobara did not change much. Regarding the business trip of Mr. Gojo Satoru, they have gradually gotten used to it. Anyway, under normal circumstances, they always turn to Mr. Lin Feng. Mr. Lin Feng, thank you. Fushiguro Megumi thanked. Lin Feng waved his hand. He naturally knew what Fushiguro Megumi was thanking. Nagizaki, how do you feel? This seems to be one of the few times you have been in a hospital bed. Lin Feng half-jokingly said. Kugasaki Nobara responded. Mr. Lin Feng, I'm not the delicate type. Well, I've been fine for a long time. Show me your hand. As Lin Feng said, he grabbed Kugasaki Nobara's jade hand. On the jade-like white arm, there was a very glaring hole scar. After being grabbed by Lin Feng, Kugasaki Nobara's tender body shook instantly. She had never let a boy touch her like this before, and she was not used to it for a while. If any other man dared to grab her hand, she would have been beaten vigorously away, but for Lin Feng, she quickly got used to it. Sneak a peek. It is impossible to tell that the teacher Lin Feng in front of him is actually in his 30s. He is obviously a top-notch handsome guy with sharp eyebrows and stars. His eyes are still very pure, which makes people feel very good. Etc. Kugasaki Nobara stopped the distraction in his heart and kept hinting to himself, Wild Rose, you are not an innocent little girl character. Can't collapse. The recovery is not bad. I can visit Shoko a few more times in the future. There should be no scars. Lin Feng put down Kugasaki Nobara's hand, helped her cover the quilt, and then turned to look at Fushiguro Megumi. Fu-hei, you used that trick, right? Quote. Next time, don't be so impulsive. Forcibly overloading is a big gamble. The one who falls is not cursed spirit, but you. Remember Lin Feng's teachings. Finally it was Itadori Yuji's turn. Itadori Yuji seemed to see a savior. His face was full of distress signals. Lin Feng smiled lightly. Student Todo, we are going to talk about some special topics next, please avoid it. Todo Aoi reluctantly walked out of the ward. Itadori, how does it feel to be free of restrictions? Itadori Yuji recalled it for a while, and then he said in high spirits, Mr. Lin Feng, I feel that after the restriction is lifted, the strength has also been unshackled, especially in physical arts. The strength after the restriction is lifted is too strong. It's a very simple physics cheat problem, the faster the speed, the greater the power. Lin Feng said, of course not absolutely. Itadori Yuji nodded, and then expressed his thoughts. It's just that when I review the details of the battle, I always feel that it can be faster at that time, which feels weird. Lin Feng smiled. It's a habit. When you were first given the lead weight of the cursed tool, you even had trouble walking normally. Through practice, you gradually turned the weight of the lead weight into a habit. And I told you, try to forget about the lead and remember it when it matters most. After the restriction is lifted, your strength will have a qualitative leap, and you will get used to this leap in a very short time, so you will have a strange feeling. Itadori Yuji nodded half understanding. Mr. Lin Feng, can we continue to increase the weight of the lead weight? It's not necessary. Lin Feng shook his head. This is just a phased training. What you want to pursue is not just speed and strength, but fighting skills based on this. When you recover, I will teach you new skills. Now you can rest well. Walking out of the ward, Lin Feng was walking on the cobblestone path of the meeting place, when the cell phone rang very rarely. He took out his mobile phone, and it was Yae Masamiki's call. Lin Feng, something happened. Before Lin Feng could speak, Yae Masamiki grabbed the rhythm of the topic first. Teacher, tell me. Lin Feng is very clear that Yae Masamiki is a person who can't joke, and usually writes his emotions on his face. When he says that something happened, it means something really happened. Things are not small. On the other end of the phone, Yae Masamiki said. Principal Gakuganji of the Kyoto Academy just turned on the phone, saying that a special grade cursed object was unearthed in the Kyoto area 2 days ago, and the Kyoto Academy sent Division Jujutsu to investigate on the spot. Shortly thereafter, the traces disappeared. The guardian of the team is Iori Utahime. When Iori Utahime's name was heard, Lin Feng's expressionless face suddenly turned frosty, and he said after a long time, "Teacher, please reply to Principal Gakuganji, I will arrive as soon as possible Kyoto." Lin Feng, I know it's useless to persuade you, so I won't persuade you, but what I want to tell you is, don't disturb your mood, what you have to face may not be ordinary people. I see. That day, Lin Feng took the Shinkansen from Tokyo to Kyoto, and after getting off at Kyoto Station, he met the assistant supervisor in Kyoto. Give me the relevant information about the special grade cursed object, and you can go. Give me the relevant information about the special grade cursed object, and you can leave. Lin Feng spoke concisely and succinctly. The auxiliary supervisor in Kyoto is a middle-aged man with a mustache. He was ordered to collect relevant information about the emergency and hand it over to Master Jujutsu, who rushed over from Tokyo. The delivery of the materials was greeted by the principal Gakuganji, and the assistant supervisor did not dare to neglect, and came to the station early to wait. And that's it, nearly 2 hours. Unexpectedly, after the meeting, I didn't even say hello, so I asked for information directly. Even Master Jujutsu is so impolite, isn't it good? What's more, he came from Tokyo. Just when the mustache assistant supervisor was about to say something, Lin Feng's voice sounded, "Is there a problem with the data?" The mustache assistant supervisor raised his head subconsciously and made eye contact with him. The next moment, when he came back to his senses, cold sweat had already soaked his back. At the moment when the eyes met, the assistant supervisor of the mustache saw an unforgettable look. Lin Feng's eyes are as deep as an abyss, but it seems that there is another look hidden in that abyss. Compared with Lin Feng's deep eyes, the look in the abyss in his eyes is just a flash of light from the corner of his eye, which makes people feel people dare not disobey. No problem. The assistant supervisor with mustache was sweating profusely. He quickly lowered his head, took out a bound folder from his briefcase, and handed it over respectfully. Thanks. The assistant supervisor with the mustache felt a breeze blowing by, and when he raised his head again, Lin Feng had long since disappeared from the crowded station in front of him. The sky was clear and cloudless. In the blue sky, white clouds are dotted, as if an invisible big hand is wantonly pinching various shapes, floating quietly in the air. An elementary school student put his mother's teachings into his left ear and out of his right ear, and looked at the white clouds outside the window with a cute face. Suddenly, he saw a figure flying across the white clouds. Mom, someone just flew past outside the window. The woman who was teaching the child by the mother-in-law was stunned immediately after hearing the words, and the mother-in-law turned into a thunder and fury. Okay, take mother's words for granted. You have learned to lie, right? My mother will let you know why flowers are so popular today. Then there was a burst of ghostly crying and wolf howling, and the sound of the boy's aggrieved crying became the main theme of the room. Lin Feng was walking on moon steps, moving at high speed in midair. After he took the information from the assistant supervisor of the mustache, he read it again, and he couldn't calm down anymore. The special grade cursed object unearthed in Kyoto is a blood-red gourd. Just looking at the somewhat blurred blood-red gourd in the photo gives me a breathtaking feeling. It can be seen from this that this special grade cursed object is very strange. In addition to the premium cursed object on the photo, there is also a related cursed spirit qualitative report. After analyzing and comparing the collected data, the Kyoto side finally agreed that the special grade cursed object came from the legendary big demon Shudenduji, and it was the ghost gourd of Shudenduji. Alcoholic boy. In Japanese mythology, the famous big demon in the Heian-kyo period, who was addicted to alcohol, liked to eat young girls and children, was the leader of the ghost clan who caused disasters, and was the most well-known existence in the Night Walk of the 100 Ghosts. It has the appearance of a handsome boy, and because of its alcoholism, it is called Ju-tun-duji. It is said that it lives on the mountains and rivers of Danba country, and gathers a group of evil spirits to do all kinds of evil. It's Shuden-duji. When the legendary Shuden-duji gives an order, all ghosts are swept away, and wherever they pass, there is only death and despair. This has been passed down for thousands of years, and the cursed spirit that was born is premium hypothetical cursed spirit. Lin Feng felt mixed feelings about this. Under the butterfly effect, Shuden Duji, the super hypothetical cursed spirit, was born. This super hypothetical cursed spirit, which only exists in legends, can bring him a lot of fresh fun. This is high. Iori Utahime took the students from the Kyoto Institute to the scene to investigate Shuden Duji's special grade cursed object, but they lost their trace. This is worry. It doesn't matter, let's talk about it at the scene. Dajunction. The junction of Kyoto and Fukuchiyama City and Yosano Town. The Tanba country in the Heian Kyo period was here. When Lin Feng came to Dajunction, it was already past 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Dididi. A strange call came in. Lin Feng, I'm Gakuganji. When the phone was connected, the voice of Gakuganji Yoshinobu on the other end rang. You should be in Oyama, right? Lin Feng. Just arrived. Gakuganji Yoshinobu. You go too fast, and some intelligence auxiliary supervisors have no time to relay it to you, so I will make a long story short. The reason for the disappearance of Utahime and the students of the Kyoto Academy is precisely the work of the supposed cursed spirit Shuden Duji. Cursed spirit has awakened, obtained a special grade cursed object Ghost Gourd, and is now hiding somewhere in Dajong Mountain. The windows in Kyoto will lower their tents to cover the entire river and mountain. They can only do this, so it's up to you next. Lin Feng found a place to eat, and took a few simple bites, and the Kyoto side was ready. This incident happened suddenly, and it was a super hypothetical cursed spirit born from a legendary monster. For this reason, the Kyoto side attaches great importance to it, and must be fully prepared to prevent Shuden Duji from further threatening the present world. The best way is to use a tent to cover the entire mountain where Shuden Duji is hiding. But it is undoubtedly a big project to cover the entire river and mountains with tents. Of course, these are not within the scope of Lin Feng's consideration. When it gets dark, the ink-like big tent poured down from the sky dome at the top of Dajong Mountain, and soon put the whole Dajong Mountain in it. Oyama is about 1,000 meters above sea level. Such a height would not be enough to put it in the Celestial Dynasty, which is full of big rivers, but it is still worthy of the name in Japan. Not long after Lin Feng entered the mountain, he walked through the dense forest, and a shrine appeared in front of him. He walked up the stone steps and past the torii archway. Hoo-hoo. Suddenly, a strange mountain wind blew in, making Lin Feng's clothes rattle. Along with the strange mountain wind, there was also a layer of white mist that could not be seen. When the white mist filled the shrine, the magic power is also revealed. I am the shrine. The god enshrined. Why don't you beg me? A cursed spirit in the shape of a toad stepped out of the white mist, and every gesture of its hands and feet was affected by an incomparably majestic mantra. Lin Feng looked calm. Do you think you are very humorous? Forehead. Toad cursed spirit saw Lin Feng's expression and the look of disgust in his eyes, and immediately became angry. If you don't want to worship me, then you will die. After the words fell, the toad cursed spirit opened its big mouth, and shot at Lin Feng with its long purple-black tongue like a sharp arrow. The third gate, the life gate, open. With a thought in Lin Feng's mind, the 8 gates of Dunjia's life were opened. The mantra and vigor in his body became active, and they attached to his body in another form. Lin Feng raised his eyelids slightly, and he shot like lightning, and grabbed the long tongue that burst like a sharp arrow in his hand. Lin Feng grabbed the long tongue of the toad-cursed spirit with one hand, freed the other hand and yawned, and said with a lack of interest, "Are you subordinate to Shutendoji? It's good to know. I'm the toad demon under Lord Juden. My lord is a big monster, you can't afford to offend, don't hurry up." Snapped. Lin Feng gathered the magic power in his hand, pulled Chongju Shengsheng off with a light pull. You talk too much. Ah! The toad-cursed spirit tasted the pain of pulling out his tongue, and fell to the ground in pain. Please spare my life. I can take you to find Lord Shuden. No need. Lin Feng looked at the toad-cursed spirit condescendingly, raised his foot and stomped on its head. The toad-cursed spirit stopped begging for mercy abruptly, and the head exploded like a watermelon. After cursed spirit, the toad at the shrine, the white around the shrine also scattered. Lin Feng left the shrine without looking back and continued up the mountain. Along the way, I didn't encounter a cursed spirit that didn't have long eyes, but the magic power became stronger as I went up. It seems that the intensity is beyond the norm. Lin Feng thought for a while. According to the legend, Shuden Duji is the leader of the Ghost Clan, a frequent visitor of the night tour of the ghosts, and there are many ghost generals under him. If the one in the shrine is one of them, other ghost generals, cursed spirit, should also exist. Thus, a new problem arises. The ghosts under Shuden Duji will wake up as Shuden Duji wakes up, or they will wake up on their own. In the case of the former, the strength of the cursed spirit hypothesized by this super curse will be at the historical level. In the case of the latter, if such a large number of ghosts that exist in ghosts and grotesques wake up, will it be a sign? Will there be other legendary super hypothetical cursed spirits in the future? This is a question worth pondering. In this way, Lin Feng came to the halfway up the mountain. The foothills on the mountainside are relatively flat, and the surrounding trees are taller and denser, and even the sounds of animals passing by are very obvious. At this time, a strange chatter sounded. How much did you rob? Not much, to about. Isn't that tragic? Lord Shuden gave a death order. The more shiny things with gold and silver pearls and treasures, the better. If we can't get them, we will all die. What should we do? We have looted all the gold and silver shops in nearby towns, but it's still not enough. If we go further away, Master Jujutsu will find us and kill us. Now I can only hope that Shuden-sama will forgive us because of the joy of our wedding. Yeah. 2 hunched cursed spirits in the woods flashed by, but their chatting voices reached Lin Feng's ears without revealing a single word. Shuden Duji, newly married. On the top of the great river and mountain, in the nest of ghosts. Inside the resplendent palace, ghost soldiers' cursed spirit carried precious things in an endless stream, all of which were preparations for Shutendoji-sama's big wedding. Shuden Duji sat on the main seat in the middle of the palace, propped his cheek with one hand, and stared at the ghost soldier cursed spirit who was busy below, with a blood-red ghost gourd standing beside him. A head of crimson long hair further showed his unrestrained nature. As the leader of the ghost clan, Shuden Duji naturally has such capital. Shutendoji's disdainful gaze turned to the other side, softened a little. There were a few jujutsu masters who were controlled and free. Iori Utahime is on the list. Except for her, Nishimiya Momo, Miwa Kasumi, and Zenonmai from Kyoto except Jujutsu High School were all neatly captured here. They are also the heroines of Shuden Doji's wedding. Yes, Ju Tuntong's sons marry 4 jujutsu masters. I don't want to marry Shuden Duji. Nishimiya was so flustered that he was confused, crying. Hearing this, Zenonmai teased, I clearly remember that when someone saw Shuden Duji, he still sighed for his beauty. What's the use of being handsome? It's cursed spirit, and there are so many handsome guys out there. I don't want to marry cursed spirit. Zenonmai's eyes turned to the calm Miwa Kasumi again. 3 rounds, according to your character design, shouldn't you make a crying bag with Nishimiya? Miwa Kasumi. That's right. I think I should cry too, but I can't seem to cry. Although I don't want to marry cursed spirit, what can I do? I can't fight, I can't escape. I'm just a waste of 3 rounds, and I don't know if my parents will get the loan after I die, then I'm really unfilial. Miwa Kasumi retreated and played a good one. Iori Utahime sighed. Give me enough time, you guys, don't keep talking about frustration. Nishimiya Momo wiped away tears. Mr. Utahime, is there any hope for us? Who will save us? There will be someone. Iori Utahime comforted a few words, and a figure of a person appeared in her heart. Mr. Lin Feng, will he come? Iori Utahime wasn't sure, but she wanted to. Mr. Lin Feng, will you come? The top of Dajong Mountain. After Lin Feng climbed up, he gazed at the extreme peak not far away. It can be seen that there is a special atmosphere shrouded in the top of the pole, and there is a faint palace. Legend has it that besides eating the flesh and blood of young girls, Shuden Doji also likes gold, silver, jewelry and ostentation, and even cultivated an extremely luxurious palace in his lair. If Lin Feng's guess is correct, the palace on the top of the mountain in front of him should be the place where Shuden Duji got married, and he was born in a realm. Lin Feng originally thought about sneaking all the way there, but then he thought about it. Iori Utahime and the students of the Kyoto Institute were detained inside, and they were about to become Shuden Doji's bride, and the fire of ignorance suddenly rose. Sneak ass. Eliminate all curse as the most perfect stealth. Lin Feng activated the spell, and the magic power in his body was transformed into Lixiu. Would escape curse secret art tree realm comes. The giant verdant tree broke out from the ground, lifted Lin Feng's figure upwards, and directly sent it to the sky that was as high as Shutenduzi's palace on the top of Dajong Mountain. The dense green giant trees broke through the ground, soared into the sky, and came to Lin Feng's feet to pave a road extending forward. In the ghost nest, in the palace, Shutenduji was admiring the beauties of the four Jujutsu masters. Suddenly, he felt an extremely majestic mantra force coming outside the ghost nest. The four girls who were controlled and free also felt it. They were hit by Shutenduji's curse and couldn't use the magic power, but that doesn't mean they couldn't feel the magic power. Someone is coming. Someone is coming to save us. Nishimiya Momo jumped 3 feet high in excitement. No one can save you. Shutenduji's icy voice sounded, and then he got up and left the main seat, and the gourd that was standing still fell on his body. Suddenly, the spell power in the entire palace surged wildly. Shutenduji's red hair fluttered, and his demon eyes directly penetrated the palace and the ghost's nest to see the scene outside. Under the moonlight, in the sky as high as the top of Dajong Mountain, strange giant trees stretched endlessly. The extended giant trees paved a road, and a slender figure walked slowly. Beyond the ghost nest, Cursed Spirit, the ghost soldier under Shutenduji, spotted the intruders, and rushed up one by one with their teeth and claws. The 6th door, Jingmun, open. Facing a large number of ghost soldiers, Cursed Spirit, Lin Feng directly opened the 8 gates and the 6th gate, Jingmun. When the Jingmun opened, the magic power and vigor in his body evaporated, and light green flames rose from his body. Combat ability has entered a higher level. Towards the peacock, Lin Feng stomped his feet violently, rising from the giant green tree soaring into the sky. His figure covered the sky and the moon. Under the moonlight, Lin Feng's body surface was steaming with light green flames, and then he punched out with a right fist. Boom, boom, boom. The right punches are blown out one after another. High-speed consecutive hits, the high-speed right punches and the air friction produce flames. The shock waves and flames formed by hitting the air will kill the ghost soldier Cursed Spirit who is near, and they will crash down. Boom. The gorgeous belides pierced the night sky and scattered down, like a sacred and beautiful peacock, slowly opening its tail. Under such a treacherous and beautiful scene, it is accompanied by an extremely high temperature that annihilates everything. The flames illuminated the sky, and the ghost soldier's cursed spirit that came from the ghost nest were all wiped out and exterminated directly. The remaining sparks fell on the ghost nest, igniting a raging fire. Amidst the raging fire, a figure stood in the resplendent palace. Alcoholic boy, destroy my ghost soldiers, destroy my ghost nest, mess with my wedding. I want you to die. Ju-Tun boy demon locked Lin Feng in midair, and then beckoned. The blood-red ghost gourd behind him turned over, and a big bloody mouth opened at the bottom of the ghost gourd. Call. Blood basin spat out a gust of wind, and the gust of wind passed through, blowing out all the surrounding sparks. Ghost gourd. Ju-Tun-Duji activated the spell and poured his own majestic mana into the blood-red ghost gourd. After being fed by the mantra, the ghost gourd resurrected, and the bloody mouth at the bottom of the gourd opened a little wider again. There are also cracks. Call out. The blood-red ghost gourd shot straight towards Lin Feng's position in the midair. Approaching to the front, the mouth of the gourd's bottom opened, and a cloud of purple-black ghost mist spewed out. The purple-black ghost fog spread against the wind, covering Lin Feng like a dark cloud. The ghost mist churned, sometimes condensing into the face of a child, and sometimes condensing into the face of a girl. Big brother, come and play with me. Help me, please help me. For thousands of years, the resentment of the girls who were devoured by Shutenduji was sealed in the ghost gourd, and they were driven and enslaved by Shutenduji, never to be born again. Lin Feng's expression froze. This ghost mist is a real mental attack, like Hua Yu's ability, different from Hua Yu. Hua Yu's mental attack is to make people relax their vigilance and let go of their defenses. As for Shutenduji, he uses the innocence of a child to make people let go of their vigilance, and uses the cry of a young girl for help to draw people's compassion. The blood-red ghost gourd came to the front through the ghost fog, and opened its mouth to absorb Lin Feng's living soul. Lin Feng moved. Shoot it, sharpshooter. I don't know when. Zanpakutao divine spear was unsheathed, a dazzling silver light flashed, and the extended blade hit the bloody mouth of the ghost gourd, nailing it firmly to the ground. Lin Feng didn't take back the sharp spear, but let the sharp spear pin the ghost gourd tightly. The ghost gourd trembled violently, but he couldn't escape the sharp spear's nail. The vampire gourd that Shutenduji was so proud of was banned just like that. Lin Feng fell from the sky and landed in front of Jutunduji, deliberately leaking some loopholes. Do you really think you can do it yourself? Jutunduji's face was livid. That handsome and extraordinary skin is faintly crumbling. Lin Feng continued. Shutenduji, you still can't learn it. Thousands of years ago, you were beheaded by Minamoto Reimiko, and thousands of years later, you stood here as curse. It's been thousands of years, and you're still doing the same thing, seducing girls with your good looks, so can't you have something new? Lin Feng is probably the only one who can say that the super-hypothetical cursed spirit is worthless. Ah, kill you. Shutenduji was furious, and the violent curse power overflowed like substance. All the clothes and skins on his body were torn apart, revealing his original face. A Shutenduji who has lost a layer of skin is not a Shutenduji who can judge people by their appearance. The main body of Shutenduji looks similar to most cursed spirits. It is strange that an ugly character is highlighted. Shutenduji roared loudly. Madness. Shutenduji activated the second Jujutsu, absorbing the mantra Chinma's power released just now, and the mantra entered his body. His body instantly rose to a height of more than 3 meters, and he even had an extra pair of hands and feet. When Shutenduji was running with a height of more than 3 meters, the ground trembled uncontrollably, as if his strength did not depend on his size at all. With a height of more than 3 meters, running more than 30 meters effect. Obviously, Shutenduji in a mad state is following the path of a melee berserker. For close combat, Lin Feng is fine. Interesting. Then let's have a hearty battle. Lin Feng had the foresight to tear off his shirt, and the next moment, his figure also rushed towards Guangqi Jutun Boy. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.